the season ended, and it's been go, go, go ever since. And teams are getting so much business done today and the last couple of days. John, it's a perfect time to have Nick Kypreos on with some news coming out of Toronto.
Darren Raddysh is the newest member of Big Blue, as Brian Burke used to call it, with a sign and trade. The Tampa actually signs him to an 8-year deal, and then they get traded to the Maple Leafs for a fifth round pick. The question for me is, with the success he had last year, 70 points, is he at 30 years old a one-hit wonder? Lots of people don't think so. Lots of people think that he's going to be great on the power play for the Maple Leafs, a big shot. He played very well for Tampa in some tough times in Tampa when you consider the amount of injuries that the Lightning had on their blue line. But is he at 30 years of age, signing an 8-year deal? Is he something that can be that effective that quickly for the Maple Leafs?
Why wouldn't Tampa have found a way to keep him for 8.5?
It's a good question. But you know what, Julien Brisebois, I have learned not to challenge anything he does with his contracts, with his roster. The only thing I could think of, Darren, and it may be old school thinking, is that Victor Hedman makes $8 million. Victor Hedman is the cornerstone of that blue line, maybe the cornerstone of the team. Victor Hedman only makes $8 million. And is that thinking?
You're not going to lose a talented player just because of an internal cap, though.
No, but when you look at who they have on the blue line, when you have Chernak and you have McDonough, who's going to play another year, when they signed Mosier to a long-term deal last year, as getting him back on the Sergachev deal, they signed him for 6-7. So you do wonder if in the short term, if there's a real belief and view that is there a place for Raddysh at $8.5 million? Is there a place for him on the blue line in Tampa? Is he better than McDonough? Is he better than Chernak? So, and I'm not sure he is. So all of a sudden he's number 4 on the depth chart, maybe number 5 on the depth chart in Tampa. And are you paying your number 5 defenseman $8.5 million?
Wow.
Are you?
He's better than those guys when it comes to points.
Yeah, but okay, but again, he seized a moment with a team. He got lots of ice time in key moments. I'm not doubting what he did. It was amazing. It was a hell of a year. He was one of the top 10 stories in the NHL last year. He
Number
was
7 in points by defenseman this year.
But one of the top 10, eyebrow raising stories in the NHL last year was Darren Raddysh and what he did for Tampa Bay at a time when Victor Hedman wasn't playing, at a time when they were a team contending for the Atlantic Division. The question is in the offseason, when you have everybody back, you have everybody healthy, does he fit in? He fit in?
And you've got other guys, so if you got other guys right now, and in 4 years, you got to live with a 35-year-old defenseman.
Right.
That's
right.
That's a balancing act. Raddysh is more valuable to Toronto than he is to Tampa Bay. Fair to say?
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the question is they got a 5th round pick for him. Well, okay, fine. 5th round pick.
Sanitary, he was going to free agency in a week and a half. So
he was going to free agency on July 1st. That's right. So that's life.
Toronto fans okay with the sign and trade this time around?
I think so.
As opposed to a year ago?
I think so. I think they're happy.
Just wondering.
I think it's been a pretty good week for John Chayka and the Maple Leafs. I think that they've come to realization of what he's trying to do, and he's not sitting on his hands. There's a, as the season ended, and Keith Pelley was holding press conferences, This was not a pleasant place to be around hockey fans. There's been a couple of events that have occurred, including the 2 trades, the signing of, and the announcement that the Leafs get the first round pick, that things are a little more positive in Toronto.
If these transactions had taken place in Edmonton, the narrative would be, look what they're doing to keep Connor McDavid.
Yes.
Can you spin it the same way, but replace McDavid with Auston Matthews in Toronto?
I guess you could.
Or is it different?
I think it's different because the Leafs have more holes to fill. The Leafs still have lots of holes to fill. I think the supporting cast in Toronto, as of today, is still not as good as the supporting cast for Connor McDavid at Edmonton. So I think Edmonton's closer. Do the Oilers need to make some tweaks? Yeah, they need to make some tweaks. But I do think there are more tweaks to be made in Toronto.
We'll get to the Oilers and Mike Babcock with Nick Kypreos, who's standing by. He'll join us next from the Kipper and Bourne Show. Real Kipper on the way on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
Welcome in our buddy Nick Kypreos, who looks like he's playing some golf later on today. Are we playing at the same place?
If we talk golf, is this now 98% hockey, 97%
no, if we talk
hockey?
Golf, it's the new show, 100% golf. Everything here is 100%. Just so you're clear, everything here is 100%.
Kippy might be right. If we wander off the path a little bit, we get down to 93% hockey.
U.S. Open, all the players are done playing hockey. Of course, it's golf season.
Come on, how can you be talking that? You're in Toronto, and the Toronto Maple Leafs now have a big booming slap shot at the blue line.
Yeah, no question that's made a lot of noise in a very short while. That Raddysh, who's a terrific hockey player in Tampa all season long, had tremendous numbers, 20-plus goals, John, 70 points, and was really a key figure all season long for Tampa Bay, is now a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, John Chayka coming in, being aggressive. The mandate is clear. They want to win now. They want to get back into the playoffs. They want to contend. Getting a guy like this on the blue line, more specifically, a true power play specialist with a booming slap shot, is exactly what the doctor ordered for the Maple Leafs.
What do you think of the trade that Chayka pulled off? It was a sign and trade.
Sign and trade. Again, this is to maximize the dollars. We only, Darren, have a short window of teams being able to sign players to 8 years, right? And certainly the number that it ended up being $8.5 million on an AAV is something that even Tampa, with their cost of living and their taxes, they didn't want to go that route. And Toronto outbid everybody. No, there was not another team that was going to give the money that the Maple Leafs gave Raddysh. And he's a Toronto kid, so there's a fit there as well. He's going to come in. He's going to have a lot of pressure. The only thing, that people may have a question on is the fact that for a guy that's been around the game a long time, he's 30 years of age. He'll be 31, I think, in February, if I'm not mistaken. He's played 250 games, right? Connor McDavid's a year younger, and he's played 550, 600 more games. So the question is he a one-hit wonder here last season, or can he put those type of numbers up again and again and again? And the Leafs are banking on again and again and again.
He was 33 points, 37 points, and then broke up with a 70-point season. Is the realistic expectation that he's just somewhere in the middle of that?
Possibly.
Yeah.
But, let's not forget he's also he ran shotgun with one of the best generational players of this era in Kucherov. And you can't underestimate what Kucherov did for him, or, obviously he took full advantage of it. But he had some good surrounding players. Now the Leafs are banking that can be replaced with Auston Matthews and Willie Nylander, and they can get this power play going again. But whether or not he's played 250 games, 500 or 700 games, the guy's got a legit NHL shot. Like, he can beat goalies clean. And that has been missing from the Leafs for a very long time. Morgan Rielly has tried over and over again to be that type of guy, but never with that type of shot. This changes completely the look of the Toronto Maple Leaf power play going into training camp.
So that leads to the next question about Morgan Rielly. Is this now the inevitability that Rielly will be moved somehow, some way?
I think so, John. And, I have him in the mix of Dougie Hamilton and Darnell Nurse and all these guys that people have been screaming that they're overpaid and have underdelivered. Obviously, all three of them need a fresh coat of paint, and that can come with just simply waiving no-move contracts.
Well, we know Darnell's prepared to do that.
Yes. Yeah, we do. And we believe Morgan Rielly will be in a position to entertain whatever the Leafs bring him, and he'll just go from there. But he knows it's coming. I think the Leafs made it abundantly clear already that they want to move in a different direction. All three of these guys that I mentioned, Shanny, have value, right? Mm. They just got to figure out what the value is and at what price point. Does it mean picking up $1 million off of Morgan Rielly's 7.5, or in Darnell's case, does Edmonton need to pick up some cash as well? I don't know how it'll all play out, but those guys they're solid NHLers who have played the majority of their career 18, 20 minutes, 22 minutes a night. They're going to add value somewhere else under a new, fresh look.
So the Raddysh Morgan Rielly conundrum is Rielly makes 7.5. Raddysh comes in at 8.5. So like it's pretty much just a wash. Sounds like a pretty good trade up.
No question. It's an upgrade, Darren. This is a major, major move. And sliding Raddysh in now in a top four and unequivocally the number one power play guy, it's a major upgrade. But they're paying for it, as we said, at $68 million. But the cap is moving up, and the cost of 8.5, shrinks. If you compare it to last season or a year ago, it works out to about $6.5 million on an AAV, which is, very manageable here. The Leafs they hit a fork in the road. Either they rebuild and they go young, or they take another run at it. And adding Raddysh for a 5th-round draft pick, when you set the money aside, is a complete no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. It's been an amazing week, or an interesting week for John Chayka when you consider he traded one of his 2 goaltenders. He hired a new coach that I think people were a little, quite frankly, underwhelmed with. At least that's my reading. And then this. The fireworks might continue for a while here.
For sure. And we're also up here in Toronto used to the pace of Brad Treliving, who worked very hard, made a lot of phone calls, but had trouble, John, pulling the trigger on a lot of things. And this seems like it's the opposite feeling. Chayka seems very clear on at least having a vision, albeit, his and Matt's and maybe not too many other people in that loop. and they're just going for it. And Keith Pelly is the CEO of MLSE and soon to be maybe Rogers Entertainment. We'll have to see how that plays out in the coming weeks or months. But the mandate's clear. The Toronto Maple Leafs do not rebuild. We do not sit on the sidelines for 3 or 4 years. We are in the mix. We're playoff contenders that need a reboot, and this is the path that we've chosen. And Chayka's following it to a T right now.
What was your reaction to the Joseph Woll transaction with Philadelphia?
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all, Darren. The Leafs, I think, on paper and statistically, when Stolarz and Joseph Woll were healthy, they were a good pair. You know, they could get the job done. They're talented goalies, but they are unreliable goalies, both of them. And you cannot, in a pressing year, you cannot take the chance of Joseph Woll disappearing either through injuries or through personal issues. So take one of them out of the equation. Woll had more value than Stolarz. He's also 5 years younger, albeit what you thought of the returning players from Philadelphia. They managed to get a 3rd-round pick out of it. And they took his $3+ million contract off the books here. So not surprised at all. I think this goaltending picture is far from what we see left now in the depth chart. They'll go out, I think, and get another goalie.
You do.
So
not just promote from within with the Marlies and what they've been able to do. There was some talk about that.
Akimov is doing terrific things with the Toronto Marlies. One game, away from a Calder Cup championship. But again, if you're talking about a veteran team now like the Leafs wanting to go back in to the playoffs, you're not putting it on that kid, not just yet. So where does that leave them after him? There's Stolarz still in the mix, but again, there's
veteran guys out there. There's veteran
guys out there, but Stolarz cannot be that guy either, based on his track records, the surgeries, where his body is right now. Never played 40 games in his career. You're not putting that on him either. So what are you left with right now? You're not even sure if you're going to qualify the guy that came over from the Philadelphia trade here. You could completely wash, him off. You're going to have to go shopping here if you're Chayka, and I think that's happening.
The other signing, the other announcement was Jim Hiller. I think it's fair to say it caught you by surprise, correct?
Yeah, I think, well, for no other reason, John, is that we're used to hearing some names out here. But when you've interviewed, I think Chayka has been quoted at 55. That means there's like 47 we never heard of or don't know of. And Hiller was one of those guys that kind of slipped through the cracks. Again, underwhelming, not just to be named as a Toronto Maple Leafs, but his last 3 years were underwhelming in LA. It's not like he lit it up on fire and he was
one regular season, best season in LA's history. Like, he did have that.
Listen, Darren, no problem. And he's got a 600 percentage winning percentage. Yeah. But when you talk to me, it's like, okay, like, did they have a run? Did LA make lots of noise, go to a conference final, push Edmonton? No. Fair. So he's just one of many, many coaches I think you probably could have gone to. A lot of lessons learned out of LA as a head coach that he can bring the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's progressive. He's analytical. He falls into all the boxes that Chayka wants, and probably doesn't have the clout of some of these more experienced guys where it's like, I'm running the ship. He's going to have to work hand in hand with Chayka and Mats. And and it seems like it's an understandable fit for me. So at the end of the day, we can look at any coach and we can say, what do you got to work with? Raddysh helps. Hiller became a better coach with Raddysh on a power play. No question about that. The question is how many more players can help Hiller look a lot better come October?
So I think there's a juxtaposition here, and this is just my opinion, because I view Jim Hiller as a placeholder. I view him as a guy that you try to get 2.5 years out of before somebody else, somebody better, somebody more experienced takes over. But that contradicts your thought process that says that this team can't afford to miss the playoffs, and this team is going to try to be a contender as soon as possible.
Yeah. No, John, no, I don't think they're looking at it as a placeholder because they have no idea what the team will look like in 2 years and if it includes Auston Matthews and Willie Nylander. So if this does not work, John, and they let Hiller go, it's probably letting go the idea that Auston Matthews is still going to be there or Willie Nylander is still going to be there. So this is a critical time. And if there's no Auston or Willie in 2.5 years, what's the use of getting an experienced coach, like you're mentioning in 2.5 years? But it would have to be, John, your picture means that they're a great team, but Jim Hiller's not the right coach. And all they need to do is just flip the switch to an experienced guy to push them over the edge here. So I don't know if it all aligns up, but to me, Hiller's in it to try to get this team back into the playoffs as early as next April.
You wondered about Nylander and Matthews. What about Nyes?
He's out there, John. Everything I hear, everything Elliot Friedman, I talked to Elliot the other day. We all believe, we all believe his name's out there. Teams believe his names are out there. But again, Chayka's got a bit of a poker face right now, and it's, okay, what does that mean he's out there? It means that we'll discuss him, and you tell me what your best offer is, and then I pull him back in, and I wait for the next offer here.
Okay, if you were the manager, would he be out there?
He would be out there for me, yes, because there's very few guys right now outside of Willie Nylander and Matthews that can bring me 3 quality pieces. I can get I believe I could get a top 4 D. I believe I could get a top 6 forward. I believe I can get a first round draft choice out of it. And I can probably find a way to get a secondary piece that would be top 9, top 10. So if I can turn it, and that's what Chayka wants. He wants 3 quality pieces for Matthew Nyes.
Take a break. We'll come back with Real Kipper, Nick Kypreos on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.
With the NHL app, you can listen to every NHL game right from your phone. And with home and away broadcast feeds, you choose your way to listen.
And he scores!
Whether you're at work, at the gym, or stuck in traffic, the NHL app puts you right in the action all season long. Every team, every game, everywhere you go. Download the NHL app and never miss a moment.
Finish this sentence. It's been this kind of week for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
What kind of week has it been? A little chaotic, maybe, but in a good way, I think. The last thing you want to do is just see people sit on their hands. They're active. They're moving. And I tip my hat off to them for that. They've made a decision. They want to stay in it, and they think that they can make the playoffs next year. A lot of people doubt that. I had it as more of a rebuild, including looking at options for Auston Matthews. And I'm not saying that still won't happen, but it'll have to happen after this particular phase fails. Mm-hmm. And, we'll have to see how this plays out. But I give them full credit for moving off of Woll, and certainly a ton of credit for going to get Raddysh.
So, and the other thing is, we know next week's going to be a fireworks week. We already know that, right?
I got to feel, John, that this one feels so much different than anything we've experienced since salary cap era started in the early 2000s. That
you think this feels different getting McKenna than getting Matthews in
No, I'm sorry. I just thought maybe in terms of the movement around the league.
No, I was referring to next week's draft. We know that next week will end with fireworks because they're going to get somebody that's.
Is it fireworks when we know that they're going to take McKenna? So, and I think it's the safe move. I don't think I would have the guts to move off of McKenna, to be honest with you, because everybody's expecting it. And you hope he can come in there and, provide some offense. I don't know what the magic number is. Is it 40 points, 50, 55 points as a rookie? I do have some concerns if he plays at about 160 pounds and plays besides Matthews and sees the NHL's best number one lines and best top pairs to go against him. But we'll have to see how that plays out. But yeah, for Leaf fans who were really down and out, guys, really down and out in the month of March and April, have now been rejuvenated with the potential of McKenna and Darren Raddysh coming in.
By the way, Connor Bedard, just to follow up on that, Connor Bedard got 61 points in his rookie year.
Yeah.
So you're saying 40. Gosh, that's, to me, 40 would be low.
It all depends on, John, where he plays. Now, you got to remember, Connor Bedard came in and there was nothing else around him. So he had carte blanche. They played him, John, 20 minutes a night, game one and game two, game three. It was like he got everything, right? Power play, 20 minutes, he got everything. I'm not sure McKenna is going to be able to look at the same situation as Connor Bedard did in Chicago. There's more pieces around McKenna that there ever was in the first few years with Connor Bedard. And it was much different circumstances to gain those 61 points for him.
The narrative around John Chayka when he was introduced was full of whitecaps on that water. Has it calmed? Has it changed?
No, Darren, it hasn't. But there is a level of acceptance. And you can sit, and there's some in the media here that continually dump on him. And that's okay. That's their choice. That's their prerogative. Or you can just say, okay, enough. There's an acceptance. He's here. He's doing stuff. We're going to judge him from this moment on forward here. And that's basically what you're seeing right now. And when he makes moves like that, people tend to forget about, the fact that, the league caught him for lying and cheating when he was in Arizona. We know it's well documented. People just want to move on and see what he can do now moving forward.
Here's the thing about that, though. When you talk about the lying and cheating, John's got to watch himself because, he talked at his opening press conference that, he knew the Matthews family well. That wasn't necessarily the case. And there were people in the Matthews camp not very happy with that. He talked about during the Hiller signing that, that players had been talked to. That wasn't necessarily the case. People are going to hold him to account because of his past, and he's going to have to watch it. He is going to have to watch it, Nick. And that's where the toughness may come from people, really. Yeah,
John, I don't necessarily disagree with anything that you're saying. And, it's true. And he's rubbed a lot of general managers around the league the wrong way, but it hasn't kept him from cutting a deal with Philadelphia. And it certainly hasn't held him back from cutting a deal with Tampa Bay and work with Raddysh and his agents. So he's moving forward. He's He's doing stuff. And all of this, from Leaf fans' perspective, they don't care. They don't care if you can get us to win. If you can get some respectability back in our community, in our town. We don't like being the butt of jokes. The Leaf fans have made that abundantly clear. They're very sensitive. The best thing that John Chayka can do is win hockey games starting as early as October, and all the rest of it, well, you can make of it of what you want, but just win. Just win, baby.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
is this
go ahead, Darren. Sorry.
I was just going to say the race to be the first overall pick. Is it close enough where you would almost say I'd be all right with the second pick, so I don't have to live with the history of making that choice?
To me, that's, I don't want to use the word cowardly, but
oh no, I'm a coward.
Yeah,
Kipper.
I know.
I'm a coward.
Darren, I've worked for you for a very long time. Okay, I know. No, I'm just kidding. But you're in the business where this is your job. This is your livelihood. Don't go down that path, man. Take the first. Listen to offers. If you get blown out of the water and someone wants to give you half your team from McKenna, and you could slide into a position where you're comfortable on getting a blue liner instead, but you've more than made up for the loss of the first pick overall because you're getting two quality players in return that you absolutely love. Of course, you're going to look at that, but man, everybody wants the first overall pick. And it gives you the most power. It gives you the most options, and you never want to trade that in for hoping someone else can be the first one to potentially make a mistake.
I thought we were beyond any discussion of the Leafs trading the first pick.
I believe we are, John.
Oh, okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
I wanted to resurrect it.
Yeah. Hey, before we let you go, quickly, 3 names. Babcock, done deal, Edmonton. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time now, right?
John, can you imagine now
if they don't
going through all of this, right? Having the blessing of Connor McDavid, having the blessing of Zach Hyman, Leon Draisaitl, having the PA step up and say, hold on, we want an investigation. And then you go through an investigation and you go pull people out like, John Davidson and everybody around that era that dealt with it. Then the league gives the green light and says, there's not enough here. Go be hired wherever you want. And he doesn't end up in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Really, guys? So, yes, John, he is going to be the next coach of the Edmonton Oilers.
I was just surprised it hasn't been announced yet. That's all.
Listen, dude, let it breathe a day, I guess. I don't know.
Do you think it changes the way people perceive it, that it was green lit and it's good? There's not a 10-game suspension. There's not any type of further punishment there. Again,
like at the end, there's evidence, there's hard evidence, there's a line to be crossed. We're in a game.
But that smoking gun never appeared, and it's just moving on.
No. There's nothing out there that is beyond, just Babcock being a bully, right? Yeah. And it's okay. We've had bullies in our game before, haven't we, John?
Every year.
So
you talking about John being a bully?
Well, I'm not talking about his hard days at Hockey Night in Canada when he had to make some hard decisions.
Hard decisions. That's right. Hard decisions. Right? That was the key.
But there's a part of who Mike Babcock is that's the reason why they want him back there. And I'm not suggesting that the pendulum's going to swing all the way back.
It's not swinging at all.
Babcock's looking at his history going, there's a big chunk of who I was and how I treated people. And that's the reason why you actually want me back in Edmonton in 2026. So I'm gonna have to find that line now. The question is Who's going to keep an eye on him, though? Who's going to hold them accountable? Is that Stan Bowman? Is it Connor McDavid?
That's right. That's the key.
Who's gonna give Mike Babcock this one and say, listen, don't go there?
No.
We'll see.
It's going to be hard. And the other one is Jonathan Toews. Retires today. His career's done after his single year. By the way, he played all 82 games for Winnipeg last year. It was amazing. Yeah. But he's done. Is it just a matter of time, 3 years in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, gosh, John. I love this guy. I loved his attitude. Chicago would not have won Stanley Cups without him. He was as close as modern-day Mark Messier as I've seen. He absolutely grabbed the Chicago Blackhawks by the throat like a Mark Messier would do in Edmonton and with us in the New York Rangers, and he dragged them into the fight, and he would not take anything less than finding a way to win. I got all the time in the world for Jonathan Toews.
Here's my hard-hitting question. How are those pucks on the wall? Did you glue them? Are they screwed into the wall? Are they just sitting on nails?
See, I'm not giving you my secret because I'm going to do a hit with you in a month from now and I'm going to see pucks on the wall and I'm not going to get any credit for it. You know, look at your masks. Pretty much the same way. You figure it out. You put a nail in there, some super glue, whatever it takes.
That's pretty solid work.
Did you just book yourself for our show for a month from now?
I did. How about the old sticks, though? How about
I love the old sticks.
I got Lindros, Spezza. I got Timo Solani. Did I ever tell you? Did I tell you the story that this is the stick? I think he scored in his rookie season. He had 76, right?
Yeah,
76.
Yeah.
That's goal number 56. Wow. So I'm in Winnipeg. After the game, I know he's doing something special. This is totally out of my element because I'm not a collector. I don't do anything. But I end the game on the ice with Timo, and I skate towards him, and 3 Winnipeg Jets like almost jump me, and like they think I'm going to go and start something with them, and I'm like, "Whoa, boys! Whoa! Hey, Timo, can I have your stick?" And he goes, and Timo starts laughing because the boys were going to kill me. And he's like, boys, back off. Yes, of course you can have my stick. And that's the stick right there.
Hold on.
Did he give it to you right then?
Yes,
and you skated
right
off
on the ice. And he laughed. He goes, the boys thought you're gonna start something, eh? They were ready to kill you.
So you got 25 pucks on the wall. You got 12 sticks behind you. You got a uniform, your North Bay Centennials uniform. You got a Stanley Cup. And by the way, boys, I'm not a collector. You know?
Okay, good point.
You know my favorite thing? My favorite thing is the hat from '94. I love that.
My favorite thing is the Evolve or Die book up there. That's what my favorite thing is right there.
There you go.
Hanging out a couple of. Okay, go have fun. Play well today.
Thanks, guys. Have a great
one. Straight.
Back with 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon right after this.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
You ever play golf with Kipper?
Yes. Yeah.
Hits it a ton.
I know. I used to do that.
I wouldn't call him silky smooth, but he's got more touch than you might expect, given that he can mash it.
Well, that's what you see. So when he has the touch, he reminds you he scored 62 in the OHL. You know. Mm-hmm. So, by the way, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you, Darren Millard.
Yeah, you too. can't wait. Going to play some golf, hang out with my kids, and actually hope that they talk to me for 2 hours.
I can tell you Father's Day is really important around my house. Both my kids are away for the weekend.
Yeah.
They're somewhere else.
The important thing is be the first kid to book the trip and say, "Oh, I thought you were going to be there for Dad."
No. And as my lovely wife would say, it's not important to me. You're not my father.
I'll give you a call, buddy.
That's good.
I'll give you a shout.
I appreciate that.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll be back with you on Monday on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.